I wish for the power to keep Simon safe.
Why did Betty's wish get granted?
No.
Was it the crown answering her, or was it really Golb granting her desire with a twist? Because this isn't just a simple case of magic gone wrong. Golb is not a villain with motives or a plan. He is something bigger, the embodiment of chaos itself. He warps reality, fusing entire armies into grotesque monsters, breaking everything down to its simplest form, and erasing people beyond wishing back. Golb is not like other threats in Adventure Time. Villains can be fought, and even gods can be bargained with. Golb has no motives, no bargains, no rules. He is the collapse of stories, a constant that even the most powerful beings cannot contain. So the real puzzle is this. What kind of logic lies behind a force that is said to embody chaos itself? And can we stop it?
I wish to banish Golb from this world.
Look, Betty.
Simon once described Golb as
A mysterious entity that embodies chaos. His presence is felt in every crevice where chaos lurks.
That description alone makes Golb unlike almost anything else in Adventure Time. He isn't tied to one place or one dimension. He isn't a king or a god who rules with intention. He exists as a principle, the living shape of chaos itself. We catch brief glimpses that reveal just how strange that really is. In Puhoy,
No, wait, here it comes.
when Finn dies in the Pillow World and returns to Ooh, he brushes against Golb's tongue on the way out. It's not an attack, it's a reminder that Golb exists in the spaces between worlds, something you encounter without expecting it nor ever fully understanding. And then there's Margles, Magic Man's wife. Golb didn't just take her. He erased her so fully that not even Prismo's wish magic could bring her back.
Balls. Man, that has never happened before.
That moment tells us something crucial. Golb doesn't play by the rules of magic or wishes. He stands above them, which leads to the hardest truth about Golb's nature. He is not evil in the way villains are evil. He doesn't hate, he doesn't plan. He simply is. Like gravity, like entropy, like a storm. Forces that are not malicious, but still devastating when you find yourself in their path. The first time we see the true cost of Golb is on Mars. His arrival ended with Margle's disappearance, and Magic Man never recovered. His madness, his cruelty, his entire story can be traced back to that moment. What makes it even stranger is that Magic Man later tried to summon Golb himself.
We donked up for real.
In Temple of Mars, Betty speaks with him about her own plans to reach Golb, and Magic Man admits he once sought that power too. His obsession left him broken. He never understood that Golb can't be bargained with or mastered. The Lich takes that absence to an even darker place. He calls himself
the last scholar of Golb. I am your doom.
claiming to have studied his ways and devoted his existence to him. But nothing in the show suggests Golb ever taught him anything. More likely, the Lich stared too long into chaos and mistook it for a mission. Just like Magic Man, he imposed his own obsession onto Golb.
No, answer me! What more could I have done?
His hatred of life wasn't Golb's will. It was his own, misinterpreted as truth. Even the Enchiridion, compiled by wizards across dimensions, recorded Golb's likeness long before Oo's age. They understood that he was a constant, something you couldn't fight, only a force you acknowledge. And then, there are the strange echoes. Golb and Grob, Gob, Glob, Grod, 4 eyes against 4 heads, names as anagrams, both tied to death and the afterlife. Intentional or not, the resemblance makes Golb feel like a dark mirror. Where Glob represented order and divinity, Golb represented the opposite, the unmaking that waits behind everything.
Jake, what am I looking at?
When Golb arrived in Oo, no amount of force could stop him. Armies clashed, magic was unleashed, heroes fought with everything they had, but nothing worked. In fact, the harder Oo tried to impose order, the more fuel they gave to chaos. Gumbald's soldiers clashed with the Candy Kingdom, and Golb's aura twisted them into grotesque monsters. They became raw material for entropy. The turning point came from something entirely different. Bimo, the unlikely hero, stepped forward and began to sing Time Adventure. Slowly, the battlefield joined in. For a moment, Oo wasn't divided into kingdoms, armies, or factions. It was a chorus. Each voice different, but together forming something greater. That harmony froze Golb's creations. A tearing opened in his body. The embodiment of chaos recoiled at the one thing it couldn't stand. And that's the key. Golb's true opposite isn't order. Order can be twisted, broken, or weaponized. Harmony is different. Harmony doesn't erase differences, it unites them. It creates strength out of diversity, not control.
Oh man, he hates music.
Ugh, duh! Golb is discord. It's the harmony. Harmony hurts them.
That was the one force chaos could not absorb. For a brief moment, Oo didn't survive by fighting harder, or by imposing control. It survived because its people found harmony in the midst of chaos. And that moment revealed something important about Golb's logic, a weakness that would shape what came next. So if Golb isn't a villain with motives, or a god with rules, then what does he actually do? What kind of logic sits inside a being that embodies chaos itself? Every time Golb appears, he doesn't just destroy, he reshapes. In the finale, his breath fused soldiers into grotesque flesh beasts. Inside his stomach, they began to unravel, returning to their most basic or original forms. Simon was pulled back through every stage of his life, breaking down layer by layer until only the man he once was remained. This gives us a glimpse into a central piece to how Golb works. He doesn't kill in the usual sense. He deconstructs, stripping beings back to their essence, as if life itself was only scaffolding around something more fundamental. This isn't random violence. It's a kind of cosmic digestion, reducing the complex into the simple. The same way his breath fused armies into one creature, his stomach broke people down to their rawest selves. To encounter Golb is to be undone, either by merging into something new, or collapsing back into what you were at the beginning. That's where some fans get confused.
I literally have 1 bazillion questions.
In Fiona and Cake, Scarab hunted down irregular universes.
Found you.
And some wondered if that made him Golb's soldier, as if Golb's role was to clean up inconsistencies. But Scarab is the Order's enforcer, a bureaucrat of the multiverse. Golb is the opposite. He doesn't follow rules, he collapses them. And that's the twisted logic at the heart of it. Golb isn't a cosmic being that gives orders or offers lessons. He breaks things apart. He strips them down or fuses them together in ways no one intended. His mystery leaves others, Magic Man, the Lich, and eventually Betty, to project their own stories onto him. But the truth is simpler and harsher. Just as a storm brings a reset after it passes, chaos humbles us and strips us down. It's in the nature of things that chaos, after their work is done, puts things to their original and innocent state.
Wait! Betty! Betty!
Everything we've seen about Golb, the fusion, the reduction, the unraveling, comes together in Betty's story.
Whoa.
Her final act in Come Along With Me is the clearest case study of what happens when human desire collides with disorder. Inside Golb's stomach, the ice crown had been reset to its prime wishing state. Betty saw this as her one chance. If she and Simon escaped, she feared the crown would snap back to its corrupted form. So she stayed behind and made her wish.
I wish to banish Golb from this world. Uh-oh.
At first, she tried to banish Golb outright. But that failed because Golb isn't something you can simply erase. Asking the crown to remove him was like asking it to remove gravity. He isn't a character to destroy. He's a cosmic constant. And in truth, banishing him may not have even been Betty's deepest desire. So she turned to the wish that had defined her arc from the beginning: protect Simon.
However it has to happen. I wish for the power to keep Simon safe.
The crown responded, but the outcome wasn't only its doing.
What has she done?
In Golb's presence, protect Simon couldn't mean building a shield or pushing him away. Golb's logic is always the same: to merge, to unravel, to collapse what exists. The only path left was for Betty's desire to be drawn into Golb himself. She became part of him. That's why it matters to see Golb as more than just an entity of chaos. He had intention. The crown didn't drag Betty into him against his will. It worked in his favor, not against his nature. Betty wasn't the exception. She was the clearest expression of Golb's power. In the end, it was Golb who shaped how her wish took form. And that's the paradox. Did the crown grant her wish, or did Golb? Maybe both. But if Golb's nature defined how it took shape, then in a sense it was Golb who answered. Betty wanted Simon safe, and he was. But the cost was her identity, her voice, her very self.
Betty?
When Betty merged with Golb, something transformed. For the first time, chaos carried more than its own terrifying logic. It bore the trace of human longing layered on top of its instinct to merge and unravel. We see the outcome most clearly in Fiona and Cake. Golbetty doesn't act like the silent Golb of before. She intervenes, but in ways that are purposeful and chaotic all at once. She splits Scarab again and again rather than erasing him, as if Betty's imagination was steering the chaos in unpredictable directions. That's what makes Golbetty so haunting. Betty thought she was sacrificing herself for Simon. Instead, her absorption transformed Golb into something new. A force of nature now carrying the trace of human longing and the unsettling higher awareness and intelligence that had never been there before. And with that transformation, the harmony once revealed as Golb's weakness might no longer apply in the same way. Chaos still carried its own logic, but now it bore the weight of human desire, making it more unpredictable than ever. Now we know why Betty's wish was granted. You may agree with me or not on whether it was purely the crown or Golb himself that answered her desire. But it leaves us with the bigger question we started with. Can chaos ever truly be stopped? The truth is, we can't stop it. Not in Ooh, and not in our own lives. It isn't something you defeat once and for all. It's a force that strips away what feels stable and pushes us into unfamiliar shapes. It knocks us back to old patterns, old fears, old selves we thought we'd left behind. Other times, it fuses parts of our lives together in ways we never expected, forcing us into versions of ourselves we don't yet understand. We don't get to control the form chaos takes or how it shapes us. The real lesson here is how we respond when it arrives.
It's up to people to say so.
That's why harmony matters. For Ooh, they harmonize together in song. For us, it may be through setting aside our disagreements and unifying when it matters most, or allowing others to steady us when we can't steady ourselves. Harmony doesn't erase differences. It holds them side by side, and that makes it strong enough to carry us through disorder. Chaos always returns, and we can't stop it. But what happens next, whether we collapse or grow into something new, depends on how we carry ourselves into the storm. That is the twisted philosophy of Golb.
Helped me realize that my life is worthwhile.
See you in the next one, adventurers.